Hey, all you people, and welcome back in to the final episode. I am back where it all started, where we started this achievement hunting season. I think my render distance is down because in the first video you could see like an island in the distance. But we're back, and it's time for our world tour episode. We're going to see everything that we did today. What is up with this rain? Like, this is a very sad feeling for the world tour. I wanted this to be happy. Like, even though I myself am sad that we're leaving this world behind, I still want the tour itself to be happy. Go away, rain. Anyway, here is our starter base that we built. Hello, cows. How are you today? We have our nice little shooting range here that we built to try to get the bullseye achievement. Still never got it. Okay, let's take like 2 shots, see if we can get it. 1, 2. Oh, how did that first one not get it? Oh, come on. It's so close. No. And the rain is gone because of sleeping. Perfect. There we go. So much happier, so much cheerful. Cheerfuler? Is that a word? Oh well. The inspiration for this house was the Hearthfire DLC in Skyrim, actually. It was like build the entry hall, build the main bulk of the house, and then build wings off to the side. Was basically my thinking of it when I built it. I think originally when I like wanted to stay here, I wanted to build like a tower out the back too, like you build the towers on those types of houses. It's kind of bland. I feel like I've improved a lot as a builder since this, honestly, like in the past, like what, when did I start this series? Over a year ago. December 6th, 2021. So yeah, in the past year and a half, I feel like I've improved a lot as a builder, but it's nice to see this like starter base. It looks not awful. It could look a lot better. I still remember looking at the seed map and saying, I see this ice spike biome, and I see this one like island in the middle of this ice spike biome. I think that'd be really cool to come live at. And that's how we got here. Started off with this nice little house up here. It was my like log cabin with the bit of naturey bits with the moss roof. I really like it. Like, it's very cozy, very homey. It could be a bit better. Like, it's a bit triangular. It looks just kind of like an overgrown tent. But that's okay. I like it. I liked having it as our starter base. To the ice cave. This is quite possibly one of my favorite ideas I've ever had. I feel like I could have executed it a bit better. But the frozen ice cave had a very... Actually, another very specific Skyrim reference in mind when I was building it. The one outpost that you have to go to in the main story with like the giant Dwemer like gizmo in there where you get the book. Whatever. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you probably don't at this point. This is what I was basing it on, was like we have this nice little like constructed area down here, and as you go further into the cave in both directions, it kind of trails off just into pure ice in glacier. And I think that worked really well. I liked it being our villager trading hall. I think that was a great idea. Works really well. Very nice. This side I liked having it very much obviously more decorative. We didn't really come down on this side as much. I like the fog effect. I don't like that I can see like the layers, but I like the fog effect. I think it was a pretty good use there. I like Sandy and Dandy. I don't know how I did that in the right order. So the breeder and the honey farm, I'm gonna kind of roll into one thing because they were both of my like not examples, ideas of trying to do different types of roofs. I think that they could have worked better, but it's not like I'm saying they're bad, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think this roof is particularly good. I feel like there was far better ways I could have done it, and it looks very bland. Like, if I had put other blocks into it, I think it will probably looked better. And then, and I guess that's also kind of the point of the moss roof, is that it had andesite trailing up into moss, and then that moss also slowly getting more and more covered with glow lichen, which I think is a good blending technique, because glow lichen doesn't fully take over the block. So it does kind of just add another layer of depth, which is nice. And now we're going to go on to some of the things I was not a big fan of that we did. This mine house thing. I like the idea. It was my first time trying to use a gradient. Like, as you can, like, technically this was built after. I'm 99% sure that was built after. So, like, this is my first time using gradient. Like, you can look there, no gradient. Look there, no gradient. Look there, no gradient. So, I'm not mad at myself for building it. But the gradient itself just doesn't look good, and it's on too small of a scale for it to really have any impact, if that makes sense. Like, it's also just so egregious where it goes from, like, andesite into whatever type of coral I used. Like, it could have been done so much better. But it was nice to have as, like, an introduction to me trying to build with a gradient. This stupid farm took me so long to do because I had to wait for each of the sets of frogs to grow up. I had to wait for all that. Then I had to go and wait to get all the honey because the frogs kept jumping out. This stupid farm, it works so well, but never built it in a single player world. It's amazing farm, way too much effort put in for the payoff that it had. This storehouse is... I like the palette actually a lot. Like with the spruce, the stripped dark oak, the mushroom stem looks so good. The palette is really good. The design of the house is just not good. Like, actually, I'm going to fly up. Because the way I built it was in like 5x5 squares. Like, you can see there's 5x5 squares for each of them. Or however many it is. Maybe it's 7x7 squares. Yeah, 7x7 squares. And for a storehouse, that was just a terrible idea because I'm constant... Excuse you. Move. It was just a terrible idea because I'm constantly running, like, oh, to here to get mob loot, over here to get dirt. Wait, I'm out of dirt over here. Okay, I guess I need to go downstairs to get the dirt that I need because it's in a dump chest or something. It didn't work good. I like that it's just kind of a nice area for extra villagers to roam now, but it was a bad idea for a storehouse, and then it got left with nothing once we built the create storehouse, so I don't really know what I was supposed to do. The first time I went through this, I completely forgot about the massive deep slate cover that we had here for so long. I don't know how I forgot about it because it was such like a iconic bit of this area. But now that it's gone, I just kind of forgot it was here in the first place. But our farming area has gone through some renovations. I like this like 3 house system that I made here in the walls, where I have the chicken farm, the rabbit farm, which I never used, and then the leather/beef farm, which I used all the time. And then we had like the wheat farm in here too, which I forgot about. That I actually really like this terraform. I think this terraforming looks really natural. Like, actually, while it's nighttime, the most unsung thing that I did was light up this entire island. Like, it's all soul lanterns, so no snow ever melts. And like, you can obviously see one there that I just never covered up. There's a few in the walls I had to put in walls, but the soul lanterns with carpets over top is the nicest thing ever because it ensured no mob spawns anywhere on this island. That's also why the glow lichen was put up there eventually, was because apparently string doesn't prevent mob spawns, which I was always under the impression it did. But regardless, lighting up this island was one of the nicest things I ever did. The original goal was supposed to be that I release the villagers to let them free roam. The issue with that was they could draw the mobs in anyway, and I didn't want to build a wall because the point was like the natural wall of the lake. But because it's obviously an ice lake, the mobs are just going to walk across it. So that's why I end up never releasing them to the free roam around the island. When I took a break from posting hardcore, I did, I think, 2 builds. I think I built this blacksmith, which ended up being useless after a fact. However, it was actually very useful because it introduced me using this palette, which I still really like. I love this palette of having the warped and then the oak. I think it looks really cool. It looks like frozen wood in my opinion, and so I really like it in the ice spike biome specifically. After I built this building, I don't think I ever once again showed it on camera. Or obviously, like, you've shown the insides on camera, but obviously that's where the bamboo is in this side. Then over here we had one of the most consequential farms was my glow lichen farm. This thing was so nice, got us so much glow lichen whenever we need it, and then I had a pumpkin farm here, which eventually I just kind of kept turning into bone meal. I don't know why I wanted a pumpkin farm. I think I just kind of wanted... Oh wait, I think I was gonna... I do remember that. I was gonna make my primary food of the season be pumpkin pie, but then on Hermitcraft they had gigapies, and so I didn't want to feel like I was like copying somebody, even though like obviously I had already come in with the plan to do it. I didn't want to feel like I was copying somebody, so I just kind of changed course and did not have only pumpkin pie for food. The other thing was build this tree, and honestly this tree I just built because I have never built custom trees and stuff. Like I do very badly at it. In my opinion, I don't think it looks very good. But I liked having a giant tree in the middle of our base. I thought it looked so nice. I thought it completed the like town squareness of this area, because this is where the majority of the buildings are on this island. I think the concept is good, but I think I still need to get better at making trees. We technically have the iron farm over there. I'm not going to go over and talk about it just because it's an iron farm that I built it to kind of look like a pillager tower, but I don't think it looks good. I don't really want to look at it, so we're not going to look at it. Here's the Project Winter cabin I built. It was supposed to be a gondola station, but I just could never figure out how to get it working. This ends the Morrigan side of the base tour that we've done today. Overall, I like this finished product. It looks really cool. I like honestly the as I was saying before, the town circle, such a cool thing. Looks so cool on the map. Really brings the whole thing together, I think. But yeah, that concludes the Morgan side of this tour, so let's get going towards the industrial side of this tour. Starting off with the bakery. This is interesting to look back on, because obviously it was my first things that we were building and create as a full functioning system. So we had a cow getting milked back here, which was interesting, and then it would launch it there, launch it through here, and then launch it up and over back into the system, which I think is so cool. It was my attempt to like wonkify stuff, like add cool weird engineering things. I also really like this room because I built it to look like a sweet roll. That was the goal, was to build this room to be kind of sweet roll-esque. There's better ways to do this. Like I'll probably, when I make a wheat farm in the next one, use a cart assembler instead of the spinny wheel, just because you don't actually need any sort of powering for them to do that, to do as a cart assembler. But I like this system so much because it literally just craft it, put it out here, send it up a tube so that you can get it easier without having to come all the way down. And then we go over here to the honey, which next time I'm not going to put 3. There's no need for me to put 3. Maybe I will, but I don't know. The goal was originally going to be, we have this one here which makes the tea. We would have one further back which makes chocolate. Obviously we never got to the chocolate things. They were just a bit too much for us to do in this one. Especially doing all my manufacturing underground and stuff. I think that I just got a bit overzealous with what I wanted to do. The industrial food factory, I think, could have been done a lot better. It's not exactly decorated, but I liked the stuff it taught me about the food and stuff that I can now take into the future. Oh, and sweet roll. I think I did a pretty good job on the room, making it look like a sweet roll. I don't think we're going in chronological order. I think that we're going in just movement order. The London bus. It was an idea. It was a bad idea. Like, I never tore it down because I wanted something to cover up the gunpowder farm. And like, I like the gunpowder farm. I think it's very nice. It's cool. It's compact. And then down here, the sugarcane farm. Also, I really like the idea. Very nice. But the casing around it just is awful. Like, it is an awful, awful build. It is literally a box. I dug out 2 corners of it. It could have been done so much better, probably. But just on the, like, scale I built it on, there wasn't really a way I was going to do it much better if I was doing the London bus concept. But the mechanics, good. The actual structure, bad. Oh, we have our nether wart farm. Another thing, I don't know why I ever built another nether wart farm. Like, we didn't ever need this much nether wart. The lava pit, the infinite lava source, the result of that ended with us losing our hardcore portion of this world. A reasonable idea, which I'm very happy that I did, because the infinite lava pit, very nice thing, very cool thing. It allows us to do it allowed us to do things, and I'm probably going to do it again in season 2, make an infinite lava pit, but we didn't end up actually using it because we didn't really use trains. Like, we made the system to make trains, but we never actually had that much need for lava. Like, it was fine keeping it in the nether. Oh, this thing, I'm 100% remaking this thing. This is a stone into effectively concrete system where it makes gravel and sand out of stone. One of the nicest things I think I've made. 100% making that again. Now we move on to the slime farm. I'm going to get my sword in hand just to be safe. I actually am very, like, looking at that terraforming again, I like that terraforming. I think I did pretty good there, honestly. Because, like, obviously this used to be a lot taller before I just cut it down. I think it looks actually very, very nice and well terraformed, but especially, like, my custom, like, ice splotches, I do like them. I think they look nice. Anyway, down to the pit. I like this. It's a lot nicer than it was when it was just stone. I like the glow lichen idea. It does run into the issue of, like, I'll be fighting a slime and then all of a sudden destroy a piece of glow lichen on accident. That is the one issue that I have discovered with it. However, this also taught me that you can use this to block water, which is so nice, and that's such a more aesthetically pleasing way to me than doing the signs. So I'm 100% going to be using glow lichen as a water stopper in the future. The factory as a whole. This factory is so nice. It's the most complete sorting system I've ever built because we didn't have access to filters. Then we go in here, we got the smelter. This thing is very, very nice. I'm sure there's probably some way I can condense it more. I don't know how to do that right now, but I'm sure I'll find some way to condense it more for next time around. We have not used this in so long. I still need to make a new and improved one because I think I did make a way that's even more efficient than this. This precision mechanism maker, so simple, so effective. Doing that again 100%. The snow maker, one of the strangest things in here, I think. In my opinion, anyway. How do I not have a shovel? Okay. Or I'm just taking a snow block then. Yeah, one of the strangest devices I've ever made. Then we have the tree farm, the third iteration of it. This tree farm was so nice. Like, once I found out that you could put portable storage things that go through blocks, that was a game changer on shrinking the size so much. Like, genuinely, this mechanic, because that's a moving thing or whatever, such a nice mechanic, saved me so much time. The skeleton farm, I think looks very ugly. It is very useful. However, I could have literally just built it on the ground and then funneled the bone meal up. Or even built it underground and then funneled the bone meal up. Like, there was no reason for me to build it just floating in the sky. That was just a dumb decision out of me. The Morrigan. Not the town, the ship. This ship is the ship that you drive on, or sail on in Assassin's Creed Rogue. It was the entire point of me making the initials be SC on every create thing that we got. Because it was Shay Cormac is the main character in Assassin's Creed Rogue. That was the whole point, and why it culminated in his ship being what we made our base. Obviously, you can customize ships and stuff. I'm fairly certain this is like I built like the version I always used was like this. I think it's really cool. I love having all these schematic cannons on the sides, lining it like an actual pirate ship. Obviously, we can't actually shoot them. I do love the movement from the sails and from the wheel. What I was like, watch, it's gonna fire as soon as I go downstairs. Such nice additions, adds another layer of depth. I like all the barrels just stacked around. I like this bed design. I have never done this bed design before. Even though, like, obviously those are hanging off the back, you can't tell that from this side, and so I think it looks really cool. I feel so sorry for these three. Like, legitimately, I feel so sorry, because I think their pathfinding is just trying to find them to the ocean every single second, and that's why they're constantly swimming and bonking their heads on the top. Promise next time they are getting better housing. I didn't even call out the road once. This road, honestly, I'm so proud of the road. Like, it adds such a layer to the build than if you don't have a road. Because like if I just have all these buildings scattered around, it's one thing. Having the road to connect them makes it feel like one entity, which is so nice. And then the failed Ender Porter. We're not going to talk about that. And now we have the Magnum Opus, the Copper Dragon. Or at this point, I guess it's a Copper Ankylosaurus or something. This dragon is one of the coolest things I think I've ever built, while simultaneously one of the most disappointing. It was just last episode where I talked about the legs and wings and stuff, so I'm not going to talk about it again. But in my head, it would have been so much more complete than it looks now. I still love it. It's probably my favorite base I've ever built from a building perspective. The casino, very hard to match the use plus the style of it. I really like that, but the idea of this is the best idea I think I've had for a base. Like having like the head that you walk into as the entryway, having this rib cage section in here to like line the walls and add lighting so you don't have to worry about spawns and stuff. Such cool concepts. There's like giant, it was originally like envisioned to be a ballroom, but then because I made it like stepping down, it becomes far less ballroomy. Then we have the original bulk of it where we had this entry area with a nice little dining table, nice little setup. Had our bed up here originally where this was still the wall in the front entrance. That was a weird time. It did not look good at that point. It looks so much better with this. Like 100% looks so much better. I like this curved hallway too, where it goes back into the office area. First diamond, I think. I still don't know. There was 2 diamonds in the chest, and I don't know which one was the first one. So I just kind of picked one and said, yeah, this one's the first one. This cool windmill system so that we could make the ejector platforms. This tail is actually so cool to me. Like, I built this tail that, like, wraps around the tower and then up, and then the top is, like, the bulk of the tail. It's like a spiky tail. I really like the look of that. But the most important part, in my opinion, of this base, the achievement hall. This base was built to commemorate the hardcore sections of this adventure. That was the goal with the dragon. I did all of Minecraft 100% in hardcore, which I hope you should. I did some of the ends, or the majority of the end stuff. I missed out on getting Dragon's Breath, respawning the dragon, and then getting 50 feet of levitation. which or 50 meters of levitation, which like okay, whatever. Then over here, this advancement hall portion is one of the coolest things I think I've ever built. Finding a use for a link controller also was so satisfying, but just having one in the floor and then as you slowly go down, just the two sides revealing is just such a cool thing. Like, genuinely, one of the coolest setups I've ever had to show something off. I love how it looks. I like this one and this one going from top down. Like, you follow your eyes up, and as it reveals more, it's just so cool. I love this one in the floor. Very nice. Great success. I am trying so very hard to keep my emotional state together because I am so sad that we are saying goodbye to this world. It is very hard on me. I've been sitting up on this roof for about 5 minutes now, just looking at everything we've built. I'm so proud of it. Like, it's genuinely the most proud I've ever been of a world. Like, sure, on the realm we had built like a giant wall around the village. We had like the casino and stuff, but I think that we've built so much more here and so much more useful things than a lot of what I built and spent my time on in that world. And it's genuinely sad seeing this go. Like, I'm upset. As I'm sitting here looking out over everything, because I've still been doing it, I just got a comment on last week's video referring to this as the giant turtle, and I don't know how to feel about that. I really wish I would have been able to get wings and legs working. It just wasn't in the cards. That is probably my biggest regret of this world, and will be my biggest regret of this world for the foreseeable ever when thinking about this world. I think as the sun sets behind us, this is where we end our journey in the ice spike biome in season 1 of Create. Done so much. We had the non-create portion with the town of Morgan, which is just such a cool little town. I love this town. Then we have our transition area with the copper dragon, with the blacksmith, with the bakery. Then we have our industrial area with the farm, the factory, the ship, the Morgan. This is sad. But thank y'all so much for watching this season of Create. We'll be back with 1.20 next time. Until then, peace.